Communication is the solvent of all problems and the foundation for personal development, shared Peter Shepard, the author of Transforming the Mind. Why does Peter Shepard's quote have relevance for us in the context of communication exceptionalities? It is good to know how to design instruction to lessen frustration when students face difficulty expressing themselves. Another question we can ask ourselves is, what technology devices can we use to create a lesson to help correct a student's articulation, like sounding, for instance, an R or a sh? Now let us cover possible solutions to the challenge of communication disabilities. Please read Chapter 7, Mastering the Instructional Design Process, a Systematic Approach, available online at CSUS Library. The perm link is in Canvas. Review communication exceptionalities, the definition of idea and ASHA for communication exceptionalities, possible causes, and typical academic deficits. We will also review strategies to keep fresh concepts in mind when considering design instructions. A speech or language impairment is regarded as a communication disorder, such as stuttering, impaired articulation, a language impairment, or a voice impairment, adversely affecting a child's education performance. Now, what is American Speech Language Hearing Association, ASHA, definition of communication disorders? It says a speech disorder is an impairment of speech, sound, fluency, or voice articulation. A language disorder is the impairment of defined development of comprehension and or use of spoken, written, and or another symbol. It may involve, one, the form of language, second, the content of language, and or third, the function of language in communication in any combination. Primary language disorders is problems with one or several components. Phonological processing disorders, using phonological processes and rules simplifies adult speech forms beyond the average period of using these processes. Morphological disorders, omission or misuse of specific morphes beyond the typical age to do so. Semantic disorder is difficulties in vocabulary, retrieving a word when needed, or multiple meanings and figurative language. Pragmatics disorder is significant difficulties fitting into the social setting due to problems in language use. And secondary language disorder, some children may have difficulty learning and using spoken language as a result of another disability, such as an intellectual disability, an emotional or behavioral disorder, a learning disability, or an autism spectrum disorder. They are generally influenced by cognitive abilities or by the underlying syndrome. Characteristics of speech disorders relate to voice, articulation of speech, sounds, and influency. A voice disorder is the atypical production of voice quality, pitch, and loudness. An articulation disorder is the typical production of speech sounds. A fluency disorder is the atypical flow of verbal expression characterized by impaired rate and rhythm, such as stuttering. Now, improve problem-solving abilities, practice solutions to storage information retrieval, focus on pre-literacy skills, incorporate spontaneity and true-to-life context, designed to incorporate the social communication context of the learning environment, include family members. The physical arrangement communication is influenced by the setting in which it takes place. For example, select the same template and consistently design storytelling, conversation, or participation instruction. Another suggestion is to use the same program for the specific topic. For preschool, encourages communication with augmented communication systems. Integrate language programs to promote an environment sensitive to English language learners, particular in linguistic and cultural needs. For elementary collaborative learning, Reggio Emilia, multiple 100 languages of learning. The pleasure and competency of seeing is much more than an educational opportunity. Faced with exhaustible multiplication and transformation of the stimuli, forms, materials, images, and situations accompany the work and applications of humans being in every field. So from expressive activities to biology and medicine, from con- conventionalized and symbolic science to information technology, from engineering to design, from chemistry to physics, from mathematics to statistics and astronomy. All of these examples, the pleasure and competency of seeing is primary and obligatory objective of education. For example, an illustrated study guide with graphic organizers for science may develop and integrate with an art class. Instructional grouping is a direct service option to give students intense speech and language skills practice. Co-teaching parallel instructions with a speech-language pathologist. Collaborate in your teaching. Augmented and alternative communication. Picture word or letterboards. Voice output, communication aids, visual tracking devices, communication equipment utilizing keyboards, metronomes, visual feedback, delayed auditory feedback equipment for individuals with little or no voice, augmentative and alternative communication systems, and voice output communication aids are useful. So, in summary, collaborate with speech-language pathologists to set aside the time to meet. Agree on specific intervention goals for the student. Be consistent with the therapy schedule. Be flexible in implementing an integrated collaborative approach. Share your expertise, provide feedback to each other, and meet the needs of the student. Thank you for listening.